Yo, what up, Street Gods? Eric Kim. All right, some turbo thoughts for y'all. So this one is around Sublime Design. So what is it that I love and what is it that I strive towards? I think it's Sublime Design. So just randomly on the Tesla.com website today, and just looking at the text, the font, the layout, the marketing material, the images for the cars and stuff like that. Out of all of the car websites out there, yeah, even compared to Rolls-Royce and Lamborghini, etc., it has by far the most sublime design. So first and foremost, what is sublime design and what does it mean? So sublime means, well, I did some research on it. It's funny because lime, sublime, lime, luminous, line, it literally means line, sublime, below the line, at the line, whatever. So for me, sublime, I mean, I'll just tell you why I think it means what it means to me. For something to be sublime is that you kind of like look at it and it kind of gives you a sense of peace, a sense of zen, a piece of calm, and it heightens your sense of like appreciation for the beauty of a thing. And it tends to be minimal, beautiful, like considered, and intelligent. So even marketing material, the reason why I'm so passionate about marketing material, marketing copy, is that through the marketing language you impute certain values. So for example, like even looking at the Model 3, the all-wheel drive dual motor thing, it's like minimum maintenance, maximal durability. I'm like, wow, that's great. And increasing redundancy and stuff like that. So I feel like with design, it's good to be insanely scrutinizing. So for example, like looking at all the different Tesla cars, right? Surprisingly enough, at the end of the day, the Tesla Model 3 is probably the least worst designed car because the problems with the lineup, right? So I'll start with the most expensive, going backwards. The Tesla Model S / Plaid. In the back, the thing right in front of the bumper plate, it has like Tesla in like etched into it, and I find that quite ugly. And also the front, that T nose, the little buck nose tooth thing, I think it actually looks very ugly. It has that on the Model X and the Model S, so I kind of excise those out of the options. Also the problem with the Model X, which is pretty cool, if you notice around the what's this called, right? So like on the Model Y and X, the thing in front of the bumper here, there's like that little piece of plastic which I find super duper ugly. So what Tesla should do is get rid of that little strip thing, right? And the good thing with the Model 3 is I actually really like the front end of the Model 3 and the Y. It's like every time I look at the front end, I'm like, it amazes me. It's like, how did you make a front end of a car look so good and be totally flat without a radiator or anything? Like, I think it's totally sublime. It's beautifully sculpted. It looks great on the Model 3 and the Model Y. Also another critique of the Model Y, I just think it looks a little bit like, okay, philosophical thought about crossover things. Crossover things tend to be very, very ugly and they don't work well. So for example, in photography, right? You know the crossover cameras that like those things that has like a 28 millimeter to 500 millimeter zoom lens? It really doesn't do anything well. And it's funny because it makes it seem so versatile, right? It's like you could use it in any situation. You go on an African safari, but then with these crossover all-purpose cameras, insanely compromised. First of all, the digital image quality sucks, right? And also the photos look like crap. And that's why using a prime lens, so much sharper and better resolution, whatever. And so in some ways, to try to do everything at once, it becomes kind of like a chimera, or like this, like, top is like a horse and the bottom legs are kind of like a mermaid. It's just kind of bizarre and silly. It kind of makes no sense. I kind of tend to strive towards more like a design purity for myself, getting rid of the superfluous. So yeah, the Model 3 is quite nice in that regard. And then the $1 billion question, right, for us Silicon Valley nerds, right? It's like, what is the best color in the setup? Okay, so okay, two options, right? Either just, if you're intelligent, just get the cheapest base level Model 3, white, black interior, no autopilot, no add-on features. Still, the car is still super expensive. I think like the last time I checked, if you do a base level Model 3, totally bare bones, right? I still think out the door it's like probably like $45,000, $50,000. Still pretty expensive. And then you think about it, right? You have to get the home charger, right? Like costing another $5,000, right? And another thing too, like this, like I don't know if you've seen it in your neighborhood, like the Volta, the free public charging stations. Such a scam. Essentially, it's free digital advertising for them. And if you plug in your car, if you charge it for an hour, it gives you what, like 3 miles of range, 5 miles of range, I don't know, 20 miles of range, or something astronomically bad, right? It's pretty not good. So the point of getting a Tesla or an electric car nowadays, it's mostly aesthetic. And it's kind of like a novel toy. It's like a really expensive iPhone, right? And like I was thinking about recently too, because Seneca likes to, jump into the front seat of the car. I taught him how to use Bluetooth on the phone. He likes to make beats on GarageBand on the iPhone and listen to music and stuff. But the funny thing is actually, and then like the critique from like grandparents and people is like, don't play with that. That's not a toy, right? But actually, to kids, everything's a toy, right? So like even a car is a toy. And I started thinking about these rappers, right? And then it's like, nigga, pull up in that Willy Wonka, that new Tonka truck or the car. And then it's like, even Pusha T, the rapper Pusha T is like, pull up in that new toy, right? And so even for rappers, like if you got the Ferrari or Lambo or whatever, they're all just toys, right? Or even they call the Lamborghini Urus the Lambo truck. So yeah, cars are toys. And then the question is, are toys good? I would actually say toys are bad. I think instruments are good, right? Like, so for example, the iPhone could be the world's best instrument because you could use it to make photos, videos, podcasts, audio recordings, images, ZenBrush 2, Procreate app, illustrations, and also GarageBand app. Shout out to the Apple Music team. GarageBand on iPhone and iPod is insanely good. Seneca's figured out how to like even sample his own voice and auto-tune it. Kid's only 1 year, 9 months. I'm pretty certain he's a genius. and then like my favorite thing is like Kanye's quote is a genius is just a kid with good parents. I really like that. So with design matters, become more scrutinizing and become more critical, and to be more, So for example, right, like really like these Lululemon License to Train. Got the GoPro. This is the Hero 10. My front pocket. Whenever I vlog it, I just hold it like this. Vlog it to myself. Also, Ricoh GR3X. Look, the front end's totally gone. Pro tip: when you're shooting, either shoot small JPEG or extra small JPEG. Both is good. I've just been doing small lately. And even this random Asics running shirt that I got while in Cambodia, pretty fun. So that's even the thing with clothes. Like I'm so insanely picky with clothing, and ever since living nomadically and being abroad, where it's, you can't bring that much stuff, my ideal is to just have 2 shirts, like 2 t-shirts, of the highest, most supreme quality, like spend, you know, $150 on each shirt and just have 2 shirts for life. And I really like the Outlier.nyc black merino wool t-shirts, but the problem with those shirts is that like if you wear it every single day, right, for like usually at the 2-year mark they kind of fray uncontrollably. I mean, I think it looks cool, right? And I think they made the whole like daybreak merino or something like that. It's got nylon in it. But I don't know, I just kind of want a different solution. And you know, shorts, whatever. So I think with Sublime Design, it's to become insanely scrutinizing and anal about things. So for example, where Apple totally, I think they compromise in a bad way. So do you remember when they first made the the iPhone camera bump? You know, I think they called it the clit bump, right? And then now you see the new iPhones, right? The new iPhone Pro. It's like bulging this much out, and you gotta put a case on to, you know, protect the lens. Like I think it's totally silly. You should do either 2 things: just make the phone fatter to just sit flush with the lens, or make the lenses thinner to have a Sublime Design. And the problem is nowadays with Apple, ever since Jony Ive pieced out and Steve Jobs died, Apple was initially about this uncompromising kind of artistic, aesthetic, digital tech vision that Steve Jobs had with Jony Ive and the design team. But now essentially the nerds and the CEOs and the corporate people have taken over, and it's all about profit maximization. So then now the design team, it's all about like, okay, we got to keep improving things. Okay, we'll make a few design compromises, but we won't make the design compromises too bad. And so, I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, the most important thing is with yourself, your car, your aesthetics, whatever, become insanely scrutinizing with the design of things, because it matters.